What's up, YouTube? This is X79 representing Team FTK, and guys, today I'm coming to you with my latest deck profile video for February 2020. Alright, today guys, we're going to be looking at my domain Monarch deck. Alright, now Monarchs have always been a favorite archetype of mine ever since they've been released back towards the end of the OG Yu-Gi-Oh era. They've always had this very awesome control aspect to the deck, and with the more recent support the deck has gotten via the last structure deck that the Monarchs were in, I can tell you right now the control aspect has been ratcheted up to a whole new level. And believe me, the deck does what it does. It can grind your opponent down, out-resource them, and then even pile a ton of damage on the board and just overwhelm them that way as well. So the deck does have a lot of great features going on for it. And it's just an awesome deck. I can actually take your opponents by surprise since they're not going to be expecting this. Alright? But before we get started, just want to mention Team FTK is PayPal powered. So if you guys want to help the team out by making a donation, one that fits your budget, click the link down in the description box below. Make the donation. Helps us out get better cards, better equipment to bring you better content. If you guys want to help the channel out in a different way, we are partnered with inkgaming.com, so you can use the inkgaming promo code Team FTK10 whenever shopping at inkgaming.com. Whether you're purchasing a beautiful game mat like this or other things that Ink Gaming also has to offer on their channel. They have mouse pads, custom sleeves. There's a lot of different things that Ink Gaming can do, so please check them out. Use the team promo code, and without further ado, we're going to get right into this. Alright, first and foremost, 3 copies of Aether, the Heavenly Monarch. Alright, Aether just recently came off of the ban list, and I can tell you right now, she was well received by the Monarch players. Like a lot of the bigger level 8 Monarchs that have been released, you can tribute summon Aether with just tributing off one tribute summon monster. Pretty awesome. Alright, on summon, you can turn around and send 2 Monarch spell and trap cards, whether it be from hand, deck, or a combination of both, to special summon another Monarch monster to the field. This actually adds additional attack power onto the field and can really help you swing for game when the time comes. Alright, and let's not forget her quick effect, which allows you to basically banish a Monarch spell and trap card from your graveyard, and you get to tribute summon her right away during your opponent's May phase. And of course, upon summon, you're going to be able to pitch the 2 spells and traps to get in the body on the board, so you get the whole idea. She can really put a lot of cards on the board for you. Alright, just a side note, the monster she special summons with her effect does return to your hand, but not that much of an issue, really, especially with the way you can actually bring out monsters in this deck. Alright, Erebus is the other big bad Monarch in this deck. Again, tribute summon off by tributing a tribute summon monster for 1 tribute cost, which is actually pretty cool. On summon, send 2 Monarch spells and traps from your hand, deck, or a combination of both to the graveyard to spin one of your opponent's monsters back to the deck, which is really awesome. While in the graveyard, you can discard a Monarch spell and trap card you have in your hand to return another monster with 2400 attack, 1000 defense, or 2400 or higher, excuse me, back to your hand. So you can recur your monsters to really be able to summon them more efficiently throughout the course of the duel, and be able to rebuild your boards in case they get destroyed. So always a great card to have. Alright, for level 6s, I am running 1 copy of Karaz, the Light Monarch. Karaz is a very interesting effect. Whenever it's summoned, whether it be normal or special summon, you could target up to 2 cards on the field and then destroy them. The owners of those cards then get to draw a card for the number of cards that were destroyed by Karaz's effect. Typically, if you pop 2 of your opponent's cards on the field, they're drawing 2 cards. I usually pop a card I don't need anymore, plus himself, to get to draw 2 cards deeper into my deck. Pretty easy to actually get him out onto the field for this effect via Aether, and it's also pretty easy to get him back into hand and back into your deck to utilize the effect again off other copies of Aether. Just be careful is that whenever the turn he uses his effect, he can't attack. So he basically is going to sit there, so he's better off destroying himself with his own effect to get the extra draw. Alright. Next level 6, Majesty's Fiend. What can I say? This card is completely and totally awesome. It's searchable off of Return of the Monarchs stance because of the 2400 attack, 1000 defense. Has a continuous effect. Basically, once it hits the field, your opponent is not activating any monster effects, whether it be hand, field, graveyard, or banish zone. No monster effects. This guy will shut down your opponent pretty damn hard, and it's pretty much a great win condition, especially if you have it paired with something like Domain up as well. So, awesome. And of course, to help complement Majesty's Fiend, we have 2 copies of Vanity's Fiend. The primary reason why I'm running 2 copies of Vanity's and only 1 copy of Majesty, like I said, Majesty is searchable. Vanity's is not. Vanity has 1200 defense. So, yeah, if it was 1000 defense, I probably would turn around and just maybe run 1 copy. But since it's 1200, you gotta run 2, so you can see a little bit more often. Great card. When it hits the field, your opponent's not special summoned. Neither player is special summoning any cards from anywhere, whether it be extra, hand, graveyard, banish zone. They're not special summoning anything. So, it, like I said, just like Majesty's Fiend, it can be a win condition with particular cards face up on the field. Alright. Help get the deck going, we have 3 copies of Edia the Heavenly Squire. Edia is actually an awesome starter card to see in your hand. Whenever she is summoned to the field, she gets a special summon out. Another monster with 800 attack, 1000 defense to the field. So you get 2 monsters on the field for free. And typically that usually is what you use to tribute off for your bigger Monarchs. Whenever she hits the graveyard, you can actually target one of your banished Monarch spells and traps to actually return it back to the hand, which is actually pretty huge. Alright, and the card you want to be bringing out with Edia's effect is one of the 3 copies of Eidos, the Underworld Squire. Eidos is pretty damn awesome. When Eidos hits the field, you get an additional tribute summon to your normal summon that turn, which is actually pretty huge. Can help put out an extra monster on the board and basically get that damage on the board so you can swing for game. Alright, while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish him, target another monster that has 800 attack, 1000 defense, particularly Edia, to special summon it back to the field, and that will trip off Edia's effect to bring out another Eidos. So you get the whole idea. It's a bit of an engine, and it gets going pretty fast. Alright, that's it for the monsters. For the spells, 2 copies of Celestial Observatory. Celestial Observatory is actually a pretty damn awesome card. Allowing you to basically take any level 6 monster in your hand or on the field and put it back on the bottom of your deck to draw 2 cards deeper into your deck, which is actually pretty awesome. With that being said, it combos well with Domains of the True Monarch's ability to reduce the levels of the high-level monsters, so you could actually be able to put back a high-level monster into your deck and still draw cards. So there's definitely a lot of utility in this deck, and that's why it's at 2. Even if Pantheism comes back to multiples, I still will play multiple copies of this card, just because it's just additional draws. And you want to be seeing your pieces a lot faster. Speaking of Domain, 3 copies of Domain of the True Monarchs. This card is just huge. While this card's face up in the field, you don't have any monsters in your extra monster zone, and you control a tribute summon monster. Your opponent's not summoning anything from their extra deck, so you can actually lock them out of that resource, which is so big for a lot of different decks out there. Alright? Whenever a tribute summon monster attacks, it gains an additional 800 attack, so 2400 becomes 3200, to 2800 becomes 3600, so you could get over a lot of the more problematic cards out there. Okay. Like I said, it has that level reduction that can pair well with Celestial Observatory. Alright. 1 for 1, this is one of the cards you want to be seeing to help you get started. Pitch a monster you don't need to the graveyard. Special summon on Edia. Edia special summon Eidos. You get the big tribute summon off a bigger monster. You get the whole idea. Alright. March of the Monarchs. Pretty big name card for the Monarch decks right now. Continuous spell that can basically prevent your opponent from targeting your tribute summon monsters or destroying them with card effects, and that's actually pretty damn huge. Especially now with Lightning Storm running around out there in a lot of the top player decks. Yeah, this card can protect your monsters. So it forces your opponent to actually go after your back row, and if you happen to have a negate on your back row ready for it, they just wasted that card. So, very awesome. Alright. Pantheism right now is still at 1. Hopefully it's going to be coming down the ban list. Konami likes to walk the Monarch spells and traps off the ban list very slowly. So hopefully it comes down to 2 on the next ban list, which is at the end of March. What does it do? Basically, you pitch a Monarch spell or trap card to the graveyard, and you draw 2 cards, which is actually pretty damn awesome. Alright. While it's in the graveyard, you can actually banish it, reveal 3 Monarch spells and traps. Your opponent picks 1 to add to your hand, and the others you just shuffle back into your deck. Typically, you'd be wanting to search out the cards you have triple copies of still in the deck, so you're guaranteed to have that card. And if you don't have triple copies, pick the 2 copies of that one card plus tenacity, so you can be able to get into that card regardless. Alright. Pot of Harvest, recent card that came off the ban list, and pretty much the reason why we didn't get multiple Pantheisms back, primarily because Pot of Harvest can actually recycle 5 monsters from your graveyard back into your deck to draw 2 cards. This is a very late game deck, card to see in your deck, so you don't want to see it in your opening hand, but since it's at 1, you most likely won't be seeing it that early. And I can tell you right now, definitely worth having in the deck. Monarchs love that card to get their pieces back into the deck. Of course, we have Reinforcement of the Army card to search up Edia. So Edia is pretty key for this deck. Alright. 2 copies of Return of the Monarch. Alright, Return of the Monarch. Basically, whenever you tribute summon a monster, you're able to search your deck for a monster with either 2400 attack and 1000 defense or 2800 attack and 1000 defense from your deck to your hand that isn't the same name as the monster you just tribute summoned. Alright. And of course, Tenacity of the Monarchs, very key card for this deck. Basically, you reveal a monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense, and you search out the one Monarch spell and trap that you need. So, awesome card to always have in your hand. And you can search out things like one of the 3 copies of the Monarch Stormforth. Monarch Stormforth is actually very huge. A lot helps you to break your opponent's board. Basically, because whenever you activate it, you're allowed to use any of your opponent's monsters as tribute fodder for your own monster summons, so that's actually pretty damn huge. Just being able to get multiple monsters on the field and then pick off one of your opponent's monsters and tribute off one of yours can actually be able to do a whole lot of things. Escalation of the Monarch. Very cool card. Allows you to tribute summon during your opponent's turn. Bringing out things like Aether, or even maybe Courage to pop off your opponent's cards. Offers a little bit of disruption to your opponent, and very great card to have. 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Again, like I said, Lightning Storm is a bit of a thing. Having it negate to be able to protect your board, whether it be your front row or your back row, from that destruction, gonna be a thing. This card can actually stop Lightning Storm pretty easily, and can also shut down your opponent's other spells and traps, as well as any of their other summons. So it just is an all-around great, versatile card to have in this deck. Alright, 2 copies of the Monarchs Erupt. Monarchs Erupt basically shuts down the effects of all monsters that aren't tribute summon, which is actually pretty damn awesome. Makes it very hard for your opponent to play if they're not playing with tribute summon monsters, and it just helps this deck out lock down the duel. Alright? So you got a lot of different cards to lock your opponent down. And of course you have the Prime Monarch. Alright? Prime Monarch, while on the field, you can actually recycle 2 Monarch spell and trap cards back into your deck and draw a card. Very awesome. But the real cool thing about the Prime Monarch is that when it's in your graveyard, you can banish a Monarch spell or trap card, especially summon this card to the field in defense position, and it's basically tribute fodder for your tribute summons. So, awesome. Alright guys, that is it for my Domain Monarch deck profile for February 2020, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this on this channel, as well as my channel and the other team members' channels, please subscribe. Use the links in the description box below to go to our channel, subscribe there. Support us across the board to help us keep producing great content. And as always, guys, until next time, peace.